Hey guys, tonight we're going to explore something that feels all too familiar when your mind just won't stop running in circles. Overthinking can feel like a storm no one else can hear, keeping you awake at night, pulling you back into the past, or pushing you toward worries about tomorrow. It's heavy, it's tiring, and honestly, if thoughts had calories, you probably wouldn't survive the workout your brain puts you through. That's why in this episode of Zen Sleep Stories, we'll take a gentle walk through 6 timeless Buddhist teachings. Simple lessons that can calm the noise and help you find stillness right where you are. These aren't lofty philosophies to study. They're like quiet lanterns to guide you when the path feels too dark. But before we dive in, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a quick comment below with where you're watching from and what time it is there. It's always amazing to see how far and wide this little circle of calm can reach. And if you enjoy having a safe, peaceful space to unwind like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel and tap the notification bell so you'll always have a soft landing spot whenever you need it. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. 1. Stay in the present moment. When your thoughts keep dragging you backwards into regrets or pulling you forward into fears, it feels like you're missing the only thing that's actually real, this very moment. Think about it. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow isn't promised, and the present is the only place you can actually breathe, touch, and live. There's an old Zen story that captures this perfectly. A wise monk and his young student were walking along a river. The monk calmly stepped into the water while the student froze at the edge, worried that the current might sweep him away. The monk looked back and said, "The river always flows, but to cross safely, you must be present and trust each step." That's the trap of overthinking. It convinces you that replaying the past or worrying about the future will somehow prepare you. But most of the time, it just keeps you stuck at the water's edge, too scared to move. The monk reminds us, life isn't lived in rewind or fast forward, it's lived right here, step by step, moment by moment. Now take a deep breath with me. Notice the rise of your chest, the air moving in and out. That simple act of noticing is presence, and presence is peace. When you bring your awareness back to now, your mind becomes lighter, your shoulders loosen, the weight of what if and what was slips off for a little while. Think of it like this. Every time you choose presence, you're putting down a heavy backpack you didn't need to carry. And let's be real. Most of us are overpackers in life. We carry around old arguments, fears of failing, even imaginary scenarios that haven't happened yet. No wonder we feel exhausted. Presence is the art of unpacking. It's deciding, I don't need to lug this through my day. You don't have to be sitting on a meditation cushion to do it. You can be washing dishes, walking your dog, or sitting in traffic. The key is to notice the warmth of the water on your hands, the sound of your pup's paws on the sidewalk, the red glow of the stoplight. These tiny anchors bring you back to the now. And here's the secret. The now is never as overwhelming as your mind makes it out to be. Right now, you're safe. Right now, you're breathing. Right now, you're okay. There's a beautiful line from the Buddha. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. Imagine if every time your mind tried to drag you away, you answered with that reminder. How different would your nights feel? How much lighter would your days become? Now, here's something fun. Try this experiment tomorrow. For just 5 minutes, whatever you're doing, give it your full attention. No phone, no multitasking, no planning what's next. Just 5 minutes of pure presence. Notice the taste of your coffee, the sound of birds outside, the way the sunlight hits your window. That tiny practice is like a reset button for your nervous system. And remember, presence isn't about perfection. Your mind will wander. It's built to wander. The practice is gently noticing when it drifts and guiding it back, the way you'd guide a puppy back onto the sidewalk. No shame, no scolding, just patience. So, as you rest tonight, let this story of the monk by the river stay with you. Whenever your mind starts running too far ahead or pulling you too far back, imagine yourself stepping into the flowing water. Trust each step. Trust the now. Because peace isn't found in the rewind button or the fast forward. It's found in the play button right here, right now. And speaking of trust, sometimes we cling so hard to things we can't control that we drain ourselves completely. In the next section, we'll explore why learning to let go of what isn't in your hands might just be the greatest freedom of all. 2. Let go of what you can't control. There's a certain kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from your body, but from your mind. It's the tiredness of replaying the same thought over and over, wishing you could twist the past, bend the present, or guarantee the future. We all know that feeling, right? The endless loop of what-ifs and if-onlys. But here's the truth you may not want to hear. Not everything is yours to control, and the more you grip what isn't yours, the more it slips through your fingers. There's a story of a man who once tried to push a massive rock up a hill. Day after day, he strained and sweated, believing that if he just tried harder, the rock would move. But it never budged. Finally, exhausted, he collapsed at the bottom of the hill. A passing monk looked at him with compassion and asked, "Why do you keep pushing something that was never meant to move? Let go of it, and you'll find your way." That simple exchange says everything. How much of your life has felt like pushing that rock? Trying to change someone who won't change. Obsessing over an outcome you can't predict. Replaying a conversation you can't rewrite. All the while, the rock sits stubborn and unmoving, and you get crushed under your own effort. The Buddha taught that suffering isn't born from what happens to us. It's born from how we hold on to it. That means the event itself, the breakup, the rejection, the mistake, isn't what chains us. It's the way we cling to it long after it has passed. We trap ourselves by refusing to release what was never in our hands to begin with. So, how do we let go? It starts with a question. Ask yourself, can I change this? If the answer is yes, act with clarity and courage. But if the answer is no, then you breathe, you release. You put down the rock. Letting go isn't giving up. It's not weakness. It's the opposite. It's strength. Because it takes courage to admit that control was an illusion all along. Think about the last time you lost sleep worrying about something you had no power over. Did staying awake fix it? Did the overthinking solve it? Or did it only rob you of peace in the one place you could have had it? In your pillow, in your breath, in your rest. The truth is, control is intoxicating. We love the idea that if we think hard enough, plan long enough, we can make life obey us. But life isn't built that way. Life is messy. Life shifts. Life doesn't always ask our permission. When you accept this, your shoulders drop, your chest softens, your grip loosens, and suddenly you realize the weight you've been carrying was never yours. That's the freedom of letting go. So tonight, I want you to imagine this. Close your eyes and see yourself holding a heavy rope. On the other end of that rope is the rock you've been dragging, the one that represents every thought you can't control, every outcome you can't guarantee. Feel how heavy it is. Feel how it burns your hands. And now, with a slow exhale, let that rope slip from your fingers. Watch the rock roll away. Notice how your hands feel lighter, your body more free. That is the moment you stop fighting the impossible. That is the doorway to peace. And here's where I want to hear from you. In the comments, share one small thing you're choosing to let go of this week. Maybe it's a worry about work, or something someone said, or a fear you've been carrying. Writing it down is a way of releasing it, and who knows, your words might be the exact encouragement someone else needs tonight. The beauty of letting go is that it makes space. When you stop clinging, you open your arms to something new. New peace, new energy, new perspective. Life is always offering us fresh air, But if our fists are closed around what should be released, we can't receive it. Letting go doesn't mean you won't care. It doesn't mean you won't feel. It simply means you'll stop wasting your energy fighting the unchangeable. You'll save that energy for the things you can nurture, the relationships you can tend, the kindness you can give, the present moment you can enjoy. So, when you find yourself gripping too tightly, remember the monk's question: why do you push something that was never meant to move? Ask yourself, is this my rock to carry? If not, then breathe, release, and keep walking. And here's the gentle reminder. You don't have to master this in one night. Letting go is a practice. It's a decision you make again and again. Each time you choose release, the grip of overthinking weakens. Each time you put down the rock, your steps become lighter. Now, imagine for a moment what your life would feel like with less weight on your back, with fewer rocks to push, fewer ropes to hold. How much more space would you have for joy, for laughter, for peace? Letting go is how you stop fighting life and start flowing with it. And when you flow, you discover something surprising, that simplicity itself can be the source of joy. That living with less clutter, less baggage, less noise, is where true peace waits for you. And that's where we're headed next. Into the quiet, powerful beauty of simplicity. 3. Simplicity brings true peace and joy. In the middle of our busy modern lives, it's easy to believe that peace comes from having more success, more possessions, more recognition. But deep down, you probably know the opposite is true. The more we pile on, the heavier it feels. And that's why simplicity has always been at the heart of lasting peace. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with random items. Some useful, most not. Old receipts, a broken phone charger, a book you swore you'd read 2 years ago. Every step is harder because of the weight. Now picture putting that backpack down. Instantly, your body feels lighter. That's what simplicity does for the mind. It's choosing to carry only what matters and letting go of the rest. There's a quiet Japanese concept called shibumi, the beauty of simplicity. Zen monks live by it. It isn't about emptying life until it's boring. It's about creating space so that the small, beautiful details can shine. A smile from a friend, the warmth of tea between your palms, the way morning sunlight hits the kitchen counter. Those details often get drowned out when our lives are crammed with clutter. The Buddha once said, "There is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path." That means happiness isn't waiting for you after you've achieved enough, earned enough, or proven enough. It's here, in the quiet, in the simple, in the moment you're living right now. But let's be honest, it isn't easy. Our culture tells us to always be chasing something: the bigger house, the better body, the busier schedule. Simplicity can almost feel rebellious. Saying no to the noise, no to the endless comparison, no to the pressure to keep up. But that no is also a yes. A yes to peace, a yes to freedom, a yes to finally breathing again. So how do you start? Ask yourself, what can I release today? Maybe it's decluttering one drawer. Maybe it's turning off notifications on your phone for an hour. Maybe it's canceling one commitment that no longer feels right. Each small choice is like removing one stone from that heavy backpack. Over time, you'll find yourself moving more freely, feeling more lighthearted. Simplicity isn't about stripping joy away, it's about creating more room for it. A monk once said, "The simpler the life, the more meaningful it becomes." And that's not just poetic, it's practical. Because the less you try to hold, the more attention you can give to what truly matters. And here's where I'd love to hear from you. In the comments, share one simple thing that brings you peace. Maybe it's your morning walk, maybe it's cooking, maybe it's just sitting quietly with a cup of coffee. By sharing, you not only honor your own simplicity, you remind others that joy is closer than they think. Picture this for a moment. You're sitting at your kitchen table with nothing but a warm mug of tea in your hands. No rushing, no checking your phone, no pressure to be anywhere else. Just that warmth, that quiet, that presence. That's not a fantasy. It's available to you whenever you choose to slow down. And you don't have to wait until life is perfect to live simply. In fact, simplicity is most powerful when life feels overwhelming, because when the world is noisy, simplicity becomes your sanctuary. So tonight, before bed, ask yourself, what can I let go of to make space for peace? It could be an item, a thought, or even a habit. Release one thing, breathe, rest. Simplicity brings you closer to your true self. It strips away the layers of pretending, comparing, and chasing until what's left is enough, because you are enough. And when you live this way, something remarkable happens. You begin to see that everything changes. Your struggles, your fears, your doubts, they're not permanent. They pass, just like clouds drifting across the sky. And that's the truth we'll step into next. The freedom that comes when you trust in change and realize that even the hardest storms don't last forever. 4. Trust that everything changes. One of the most comforting truths in Buddhism is also one of the simplest. Nothing lasts forever. Not your joys, not your troubles, not even the endless loop of thoughts that sometimes feels like it will never end. Everything changes. Everything shifts. And when you truly trust that, even the heaviest moments become lighter. There's a word for this truth in Buddhism: impermanence. It means that all things are temporary. Every thought, every emotion, every season of life is always in motion. Think about waves on the ocean. Some crash hard, some barely ripple the surface, but none of them stay. They rise, they fall, they pass. Your struggles are no different. There's an old story of a young disciple who came to his teacher feeling crushed by sadness. "I feel like I'm drowning," he said. The monk handed him a glass of water and dropped in a pinch of salt. "Drink this." The boy sipped and made a face. "It's too salty," he complained. Then the monk took the same pinch of salt and dropped it into a wide pond. "Now drink from the pond." The boy tasted and said, "The water is fine." The monk smiled. "The salt is like your pain. It doesn't change, but the space you hold it in does. Make your mind wide like the pond, and your pain will feel smaller." That story is a reminder that when we believe our pain is permanent, we shrink our world down to the size of a glass of water. The sadness feels overwhelming. But when we remember that change is always happening, we widen our view. We stop drowning in the salt and realize the water around us is still vast and clear. It's natural to fear that our hardest moments will last forever. But think back for a second. How many struggles have you survived already? Times when you thought the storm would never end, but it did. You found your way through heartbreaks, setbacks, long nights of worry. And you're still here. That's proof of impermanence in your own life. The Buddha said, "All conditioned things are impermanent. Strive on with diligence." He wasn't just talking about suffering, he was talking about everything. Even joy changes. Even success fades. But instead of being a reason to despair, this is a reason to live more fully. Because when you realize nothing lasts forever, you start to cherish the good while it's here. And you remind yourself that the bad will pass when it must. Take a breath right now. Feel it come, feel it go. No breath stays forever. Each one rises and falls. Your thoughts, your fears, your worries, they're just like that breath. Temporary visitors, passing clouds. They don't define the sky. And here's where I'd love for you to share. In the comments, write about a time in your life when something felt endless, but eventually passed. It could be a tough season, a breakup, or even a stressful project at work. Sharing your story might be the reminder someone else needs tonight that their storm won't last forever either. Impermanence doesn't mean ignoring your struggles. It means holding them with gentleness, knowing they won't stay. It's whispering to yourself in the middle of the night, "This too shall pass." And eventually, it always does. So the next time your thoughts start to spiral, picture clouds drifting across a blue sky. Some thick, some thin, all moving. You don't have to chase them. You don't have to stop them. Just let them float by. That is the practice of trusting change. And with this trust comes a kind of freedom. Freedom to stop fighting the storm. Freedom to let the waves rise and fall without dragging you under. Because no matter how strong the tide feels, it always shifts. So tonight, as you rest, remember, your struggles are not permanent. Your sadness is not permanent. Even your overthinking is not permanent. They are all moving pieces in the great flow of life. And when you trust in that flow, you give yourself permission to breathe again. And that brings us to another powerful reminder. Your thoughts themselves are not who you are. They come, they go, they change like the weather. But the sky behind them, that awareness, that's you. And that's where we're heading next. 5. Your thoughts. Come and go. There are nights when your mind feels like a crowded highway, thoughts racing in every direction, headlights flashing, horns blaring. You can't seem to get off the road. Worries about yesterday, fears about tomorrow, and doubts about today all collide until it feels impossible to find peace. But here's a truth that can shift everything. Your thoughts are not who you are. They are visitors. They come, they go, and they do not define you. The Buddha once compared our thoughts to clouds in the sky. The sky itself doesn't cling to the clouds. It doesn't fight them. It doesn't chase them. And it doesn't mistake them for the whole of what it is. The clouds drift in, and the sky remains vast and unchanged. In the same way, you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them, the open space they move through. There's a simple story about a monk who took his student to a pond. The monk dropped a pebble into the water, and ripples spread across the surface. "These ripples are like your thoughts," he said. "If you chase everyone, you disturb the water even more. But if you sit quietly and wait, the pond becomes clear again." That's the lesson. Peace doesn't come from chasing or fighting thoughts. It comes from letting them pass until the water clears on its own. Think of it this way. If you were sitting by a river, watching leaves float downstream, would you jump in to grab every single leaf? Probably not. You just watch them drift past. Your thoughts are those leaves. They aren't meant to be captured. They're meant to be observed. When you stop grabbing at them, you discover a freedom you may not have felt in years. Now, let's bring this into your life. The next time your mind feels overwhelmed, pause. Take a slow breath in, and as you exhale, remind yourself, this thought is not me. It is just passing by. You don't have to believe every worry. You don't have to hold on to every fear. Not every thought is true. Not every thought deserves your attention, and this is where I want to invite you into the conversation. In the comments, share one thought you've learned to let pass without chasing it. Maybe it's a fear about failing, or a memory that used to hurt, or a what if that never came true. By writing it down, you're practicing the art of letting it go, and someone else might read it and realize they can let theirs go too. The Buddha also said, "With our thoughts, we make the world." That doesn't mean thoughts alone control reality. It means that what we choose to focus on shapes our experience of life. If you cling to negative thoughts, life feels heavy and dark. But when you let those thoughts drift by and give space to peace, kindness, and gratitude, your inner world changes. It's important to remember, letting go of thoughts doesn't mean ignoring them or pretending they don't exist. It means not letting them drive the car. Your thoughts can ride along, but they don't get to hold the steering wheel. You are the awareness in the driver's seat. Over time, practicing this brings clarity. Your mental sky opens up. You realize that the storm of thoughts was never permanent. It was just weather passing through. And underneath it all, there's a steady, quiet calm that has always been there, waiting for you. So tonight, as you lie down, notice your thoughts as if you're sitting beside that pond. Let each ripple fade. Let each leaf float past. Trust that your mind will settle, just like still water after the pebble sinks to the bottom. And as you drift deeper into this awareness, know this. Peace isn't found in controlling your thoughts, but in no longer being controlled by them. You are not the storm. You are the sky that holds it. And when you realize this, you're ready for the next step. The practice that anchors it all. A tool you carry everywhere. One that can bring you back to peace anytime you need it. That tool is your breath. And that's where we'll go next. 6. Be mindful. Let your breath bring you back to peace. Life moves quickly. Messages, deadlines, bills, and unexpected problems all pile up until your mind feels like it's sprinting on a treadmill it can't step off. When your thoughts are racing, it feels impossible to slow down. But there is one tool you always carry with you, one anchor that can bring you back to calm no matter where you are. That tool is your breath. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to this moment, without judgment, without trying to fix anything. And the simplest way to practice mindfulness is to connect with your breathing. Right now, as you listen, notice the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Feel the cool air as it enters, the warmth as it leaves. This is the present moment. This is your doorway back to peace. The Buddha once said, "When the mind is calm, the breath is calm. When the breath is calm, the mind is calm." Breath and mind are tied together. When you focus on your breathing, your thoughts begin to slow. The storm inside quiets, and you remember that peace has always been here. There's a story of a young student who came to his teacher and said, "Master, my mind never rests. I can't stop thinking." The monk handed him a cup of hot tea. "Feel the warmth," the monk said. "Smell the steam. Sip slowly." The boy did as he was told. After a few minutes, the monk asked, "Where did your busy mind go?" The boy answered, "I was just here with the tea." The monk smiled. That is mindfulness. It doesn't require a mountaintop retreat or silence in a monastery. It's something you can do anywhere, while walking, eating, sitting in traffic, even lying awake at night. Each time you come back to your breath, you remind yourself, "I am here. I am okay. I am present." Try this right now. Inhale slowly through your nose, hold for just a moment, then exhale gently through your mouth. Notice how your body softens. Notice how even in this small pause, the chaos eases. This practice isn't about escaping life, but about fully entering it with steadiness and calm. And here's where I'd love to hear from you. In the comments, share a moment when focusing on your breath has helped you. Maybe during stress at work, a tough conversation, or even lying awake at night. Your story may remind someone else that they already carry a tool for peace right under their nose. Your thoughts are like leaves drifting down a river. If you chase each one, the water churns. But if you sit on the bank and let them pass, the river flows smoothly. Your breath is the anchor that keeps you seated on that bank. You don't get swept away, you stay grounded. Over time, this practice widens the space between you and your thoughts. You begin to notice when your mind wanders and gently guide it back. Like training a puppy, it takes patience, but with each return to your breath, you strengthen your ability to stay calm in the middle of life's noise. This doesn't mean life will become perfect. Stress, problems, and worries will still appear. But mindfulness makes you less controlled by them. You see them clearly, you feel them, but you're not swept away. And that makes all the difference. So tonight, Let your breath be your guide. When your mind begins to run, come back to the inhale, the exhale. Let each breath be a gentle reminder that you are more than your worries. You are more than your thoughts. You are the awareness that notices them, steady and quiet, like the sky above shifting clouds. And as you rest here, breathing softly, remember this: peace doesn't have to be found in some distant future. It is here, in the breath you're taking right now. Now that we've walked through these 6 teachings, it's time to step back and see how they weave together. A way of living that turns overthinking into clarity, fear into calm, and chaos into stillness. That's where we'll go next. So here we are at the end of tonight's journey. We've wandered through 6 timeless teachings, staying in the present moment, letting go of what you can't control, finding peace in simplicity, trusting that everything changes, remembering you are not your thoughts, and returning to your breath as an anchor. Each one is like a lantern placed gently along the path, lighting the way back to calm. If you think about it, these teachings aren't just lessons from centuries ago. They're practical companions for the nights when your mind won't quiet down, for the mornings when stress weighs heavy, for the afternoons when worry tries to take over. They remind you that peace isn't far away. It's closer than you think, closer than your own breath. So as you rest now, let these words settle like soft rain. Let them soak in slowly, not as rules to follow, but as gentle reminders that you don't have to carry everything. You don't have to fix everything. You don't have to believe every thought that passes through your mind. You are allowed to put it all down and simply be here. And if something from tonight stayed with you, I'd love to know. Share in the comments which teaching felt the most meaningful. Your reflections might be the exact encouragement another listener needs tomorrow. If this story from Zen Sleep Stories brought you even a little bit of peace, consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on the notification bell. That way, whenever you need a soft place to land, you'll know exactly where to find it. Life is busy, loud, and unpredictable, but peace is always waiting for you. Sometimes it's as close as your next breath. So, as you close your eyes tonight, trust that you are safe, you are here, and you are enough. Until next time, may your path be gentle, may your heart be light, and may your sleep be deep and full of calm.